Okay, let's start with a scary thought. What if there was an invisible threat? Something that could be in your home, right now. A danger you can't see, smell, or taste, but one that has absolutely devastating consequences. Well, today we're going to unmask a threat that really lives up to its sinister reputation.
You've probably heard it called the silent killer, right? And let me tell you, that's for a very good reason. It's not just some dramatic nickname, it's a literal description of how this thing works. It gives you zero warning, no sign that it's even there, until it might just be too late. So let's break it down, starting with the basics.
So what is this stuff? What is carbon monoxide, or CO, as you'll see it written? Well, it's a super simple gas that gets created anytime a fuel, like gas, wood, charcoal, oil, doesn't burn all the way through. And this can happen with totally everyday things: your furnace, your car, a gas stove, even a portable generator. But here's the kicker, the thing that makes it so incredibly dangerous: it's completely undetectable. You can't see it, you can't smell it, you can't taste it, nothing.
All right, to really get a handle on the risk here, we've got to go microscopic. We need to see exactly how this silent attacker gets inside our bodies and just systematically shuts them down. I mean, if we're going to build a defense, we have to understand the attack method first, right?
It's a pretty chilling question when you think about it. How can something you can't see, smell, or taste be so deadly? The answer isn't about brute force. It's all about deception. The way carbon monoxide gets you is by tricking a fundamental process that's happening inside of you right this second, and it all starts in your bloodstream.
So let's meet the hero of our story, a protein called hemoglobin. Think of hemoglobin as the tireless delivery driver for your entire body. It's working 24/7 inside your circulatory system, and its one single, absolutely crucial job is to grab onto oxygen in your lungs and deliver it to every single cell in your body. It's what keeps the lights on, keeping you alive and functioning.
Okay, now here's where the whole thing turns into a hostile takeover. When you breathe in carbon monoxide, it gets into that same delivery system, but this is not a fair fight, not even close. CO is like a master imposter that plays really dirty. Get this, it binds to your hemoglobin 200 to 250 times more strongly than oxygen can. It's literally a molecular hijacker that shoves oxygen out of the way and takes over the driver's seat.
So once that CO latches on, it creates this new toxic compound called carboxyhemoglobin. Now all those delivery trucks we talked about, they're filled with poison instead of oxygen. All that vital oxygen gets left behind at the station. And what that means is your body's most critical organs, we're talking your brain and your heart, they literally begin to starve for air.
Now this internal battle, it doesn't happen completely in secret. Your body starts sending out distress signals, kind of like clues. And the whole secret to winning this fight is knowing how to spot those clues, because catching them early can absolutely save a life.
And this is where the silent killer is so sneaky. Its greatest trick is how the early symptoms look. The very first signs are things we all feel all the time, right? A dull headache, maybe some dizziness, feeling tired, a little nauseous. It is so incredibly easy to just brush this off as the flu or a cold, or hey, maybe I just had a long day.
But if you're exposed any longer, well, the symptoms get a lot harder to ignore. That headache gets way more intense. You might start feeling confused. Maybe you'll get some chest pain or feel like you just can't catch your breath no matter what you do. At this point, your body is basically screaming for help. It's telling you its oxygen supply is in critical condition.
And at severe levels of exposure, this is when the body's systems just start to fail. The brain, starving for oxygen, can trigger convulsions or cause you to lose consciousness. The heart can actually go into cardiac arrest. This is the final and often tragic stage of carbon monoxide poisoning.
So when you look at it all laid out like this, you can really see the progression. It's so crucial to understand how something that starts so mild, something you'd easily dismiss, can escalate into a life-or-death medical emergency. And that speed, that rapid progression, that's exactly why spotting those early signs is everything. So, okay, how do doctors know for sure? How do they confirm it? Well, in the hospital, it's actually a pretty simple blood test. They can measure the exact percentage of your hemoglobin that's been hijacked by CO. And that measurement, the carboxyhemoglobin, or COHB level, gives them a perfect picture of just how bad the poisoning is.
And this chart really puts those levels into perspective for us. So for most non-smokers, your level's going to be under 2%, pretty low. Now what's interesting is that smokers actually have a higher baseline. It can be up to 10%, and that's because of the CO in cigarette smoke. But the real alarm bell goes off once you cross that 20% threshold. That's when you are squarely in the danger zone, and that's where the serious symptoms really kick in.
And then there's this number, over 50%. Just think about that. When more than half of your body's ability to carry oxygen is just gone, the outcome is often fatal. It is an absolutely stark and sobering number.
Okay, so that was the science, the scary part about how this threat works. But look, knowledge is only half the battle, right? Now we're going to shift from the problem to the solution. It's time to talk about your defense, how you can fight back, both with emergency treatment and, even more importantly, with powerful prevention.
If you ever suspect someone has CO poisoning, you have to act immediately. There's no waiting around. Step 1 is simple. Get them into fresh air, right away. Step 2, once they're at a hospital, is to give them 100% pure oxygen. This helps flush the CO out of their system much faster. And for the really severe cases, there's Step 3, hyperbaric oxygen therapy. That's where they use a pressurized chamber to basically force oxygen back into the body's tissues.
But you know, treatment is obviously essential, but the real goal here is to never, ever need it in the first place. You've heard the saying, the best defense is a great offense. So let's talk about the single most important thing you can do, which is building a proactive defense right inside your own home. So here's your prevention checklist. This is your action plan. First, and this is non-negotiable, install CO detectors on every single level of your home, especially near where people sleep, and test them regularly. Second, make sure all your fuel-burning appliances are properly vented to the outside. Third, get your heating system, your furnace, and your chimney checked out by a pro every single year. And finally, this is a rule you can absolutely never ever break. Do not use things like charcoal grills, camping stoves, or portable generators inside your home or garage, ever.
So there you have it. We've unmasked the silent killer. We've looked at its method of attack, and we've identified the clues it leaves behind. You now have the knowledge you need to protect yourself and your family. So the only question left, and it's the most important one of all, is your defense ready?